what impresses me about the Brazilian team is very like characteristic of their midfield, and that is,
Mm.
sometimes when we're watching like European football, I feel like it's a little too risk averse in the sense that for the sake of maintaining possession, players often don't take on the opposition, right?
Yeah.
They'd not be like take on your player, get past them, right? You
Hmm.
are basically passing the ball around until it creates a gap that you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
exploit.
Hmm.
Whereas, the Brazilian team, both uh, Angelina and Sampaio, and everyone for that matter, even Gutierrez and
Mm.
Garbellini, were basically saying we will take on that person, our person, and we
Yeah.
will create our own space. We don't need to
Yeah.
exploit gaps that you create. We will make our gaps.
Yeah. Got
And I
it.
miss that. It's almost like it's the spirit of football. The Copa America, in case you all have missed our updates, has been going on for a while now. All the group stages are finished, the semifinals are finished. Now we only have the match for the third position and the finals left to go. Um, Kai, how are you feeling about the Copa America?
I mean, I've enjoyed the bits that I've watched. Uh, yeah, I mean, like it's been, yeah, I would say it's been pretty fun,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's always fun to watch a tournament where you don't like know most of the players. Like, I feel like
yeah,
with the Euros, like because we follow the WSL so closely, we have familiarity with a lot of players,
yeah,
and the way teams play because of the Nations League. You're just inundated with European football, like at
yeah,
least in the
yeah,
women's game. So, like, it's honestly good to see, um, other teams play the tactics and things like that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun, and it has really been fun for me because I watch it on YouTube for free, like a Chindi person. It's been fun to see the Spanish commentary going
Yeah, the
goal.
best part of Spanish commentary is the goal.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But before we begin our discussion, we'd like to make sure everyone likes, subscribes, comments, shares. We've been really happy with all of the commenting that's been happening on our other videos. We like to hear from you, and so make sure you do that. We would also like to thank everyone because we finally reached 450 subscribers, and this will be our 102nd video. So we have made more than 100 videos, and we have more than 450 subscribers. Who would have thunk, huh, Kai?
yeah, who would have thunk indeed? Like, I mean, this started off as like let's start a channel and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And I would say we're going pretty steady, so very, very happy with everything. All the support, all the love that we've been getting as well.
Yes. So, pat, if you're listening to this and you're subscribed, pat yourself on the back. Pat us on the back too for managing to get this far because both of us thought with our ADHD that we would abandon it at some point, but we
Yeah,
haven't.
yeah.
It's
That
still
point has
going.
not come yet, is the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but also, if you have, like we do cover the WSL pretty closely, so if there are, we know that there are some South American players who play in the league. So if you want to stay up to date on their performances, etc., do subscribe, because we will definitely talk about them. I will definitely talk about Myra Ramirez.
Yeah. 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 Maybe some love. I mean, this channel shows some love to Carolyn as well. So if there
Oh
are any
yes, of course.
fans of Carolyn out there. Anyway, let's begin before we get sidetracked once again. Argentina versus Colombia ended nil-nil, followed by Colombia winning 4-5 on penalties. Um, One great thing about this particular tournament is that you have 90 minutes of football and then penalties, which I appreciate as somebody who has to analyze these games. Kai, how
Yeah.
do you feel about this game?
Oh man, listen. I am so tired of extra time. Like I feel like extra time is kind of haunting my brain because last night I was trying to sleep and I just couldn't sleep, and I randomly woke up remembering how there were penalties missed in every single one of the Euros quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Like at least one pen was missed, and I was like, wow, that is quite something. And then I'm just like thinking about shootouts, and it's just taken over my mind. So, and we did during one of our lives advocate for this, exactly this, straight to shootout after 90 minutes, no
Yeah.
like dilly dallying, no 30 minutes of extra, none of that. Like just go.
Yeah, I mean, in the olden days, there used to be that we were talking about this earlier of camera. There used to be that golden rule, rule, right, where whichever team scores the goal when extra time begins, like the first goal, that team wins. It's like
Yeah,
sudden death,
yeah,
but in like open play. Like
yeah.
I prefer something like that over like compulsory 30 minutes of extra time where players just
Yeah,
get
you know
injured.
what? Like, if you have a rule like that, both teams will actually go for it. Like, for
Yeah,
instance, if you remember the Euros final, like England were clearly playing for pens. Like, there was no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah,
At
yeah.
least maybe the first 10 minutes they tried. After they were like, nah, screw this. We're
Yeah,
gonna play for pens. So, like, you won't have that. You already have played 90 minutes of the same thing,
yeah,
and you're gonna do 30 more minutes of that. Like, no, yeah. If it's
yeah,
like a sudden death situation, like both teams, there is impetus for both teams to go for it, and I
yeah.
respect that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
respect that too.
yeah,
Coming to the game itself, clearly you can see that we have difficulty focusing. Talk to me about the game. I have to admit I didn't catch the whole game. I saw some bits of it and then caught the highlights. Um, I thought both goalkeepers did a really good job. I think
mm,
within the game, like
yeah.
during regulation time. What did you think?
Oh, I really like. I wanted to watch this game in particular because Colombia are a team I really enjoy watching in general. There are
Yeah,
individual players who I think are extremely skilled, and we have a bunch of them who play in the WSL as well. But yeah, this game, the first half was very end to end. Like I think in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, Argentina properly dominated. Like
yeah,
Colombia couldn't get out of their own half,
yeah.
like there were turnovers that kept happening in the midfield. For I think it was a midfield three of Usme. Um, who was it? It was Usme, and then okay, I can't seem to remember who the midfield three was exactly. Oh, yeah, it was
Santos and Bedoya.
yeah, Santos and Bedoya, yeah, exactly. And it just wasn't clicking for the three of them. There were so many misplaced passes, and it like I personally felt like it wasn't really the Argentinian press that was bothering them. They just couldn't string two, three passes together, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
and I think in the ninth minute or so they turned over the ball. I think it was Vasquez who turned over the ball, and then Rodriguez had big chance, and it was like a 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and I think Tape did a good job of stopping that
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I mean, I thought she did a great job of stopping that. I mean, it would have been so easy to come rushing out and foul the player, and it would have been a penalty or something like that. I
Yeah,
thought it was one on one. She displayed great control, managed to get the ball back, no contact on player. I thought
yeah.
job well done.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a good save, and also like I think Rodriguez was trying to sort of go through the legs of the
Yeah, yeah,
goalkeepers
yeah.
as they always
Yeah,
do.
I think she did the right thing. She made herself bigger. I
Yeah,
mean, that's like textbook, right?
yeah, goalkeeper 101 type thing. Yeah, I mean overall because I think Argentina had a strong start. Like when you look at the stats, it's pretty like Argentina had 10 shots to Colombia's 15, three on target to Colombia's four. Possession, of course, I think Colombia outperformed there. I think they had 62% to Argentina's 38, and I think the big difference was probably the passing accuracy because Colombia's passing was at like an 80% accuracy to Argentina's like 66%. I think
Yeah,
that's something that stood out, especially in the second half, because I mean the tables kind of turned, and like
yeah,
Colombia kind of came out firing and created so many chances. I mean, uh, like Caicedo was really good. I mean, for me, because I watch Chelsea day in and day out, like I know what Myra Ramirez can offer, and she
Yeah,
does that. I mean, oftentimes I feel like what she can offer, she does that even better for a Colombian team.
yeah,
But to watch Linda Caicedo, I've seen her only play. A lot of it has been in the Real Madrid context, where she plays a slightly different role, possibly because in this game she was cutting in and just roaming freely, and
yeah,
she was everywhere. She was doing
yeah,
defensive work. She was dropping in deep, picking up the ball, um, and just I feel like, yeah, I think she and Uzme were like those like two sparks, creative sparks in that midfield, because she was cutting in, and that sort of allowed Caracas to sort of overlap as well. But yeah, I thought Caicedo was immense, and once like Colombia found their momentum, like Myra and Caicedo and even Caracas was overlapping from that left hand side, like were causing all kinds of problems for
yeah, yeah,
Argentina. They
yeah,
just could not get control of the situation. I think the player who's playing on the right wing, Loboa, I think is her name, and she had a massive, massive chance in the 64th minute. I genuinely could not believe it was still nil-nil, because
yeah,
like basically Caicedo puts in this cross, right? It's not a cross that comes in with a lot of finesse, but she
yeah,
did what needed to be done in that moment, because
yeah,
Lebo was just standing there in front of goal. Nobody's marking her, but it
yeah,
was at an odd height. It was an
yeah,
awkward
yeah,
height,
yeah,
and I feel like she had time to maybe take it down and like kick it, because she was literally like 3 yards from goal,
yeah,
you know. And that was a massive, massive chance. I just could not believe
yeah.
it was still nil nil. She scuffed it. I feel like she should have finished that chance.
Yeah, it
Um,
doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be at the back of the net,
it just has to go in. Maybe if she had, even if she had
Yeah.
sort of just like fallen on the ball, it might have gone in. Just
Yeah.
fall on the ball like this. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think what Argentina were doing in the first half, at least in the first 20-25 minutes, really well, was just playing long balls, but also playing some of these cross field passes.
Yeah.
And I feel like in the second half, when Colombia came back, they started pressing the goalkeeper as well as the back
Yeah.
line
Yeah. Yeah.
up front, like really well. So it didn't give them as much time on the ball. It
Yeah.
didn't give them as much time on the ball to pick out those passes. So I think that is like a big, big change that kind of then swung the momentum in Colombia's uh, favor. But yeah, I mean, there was, as we've seen in a lot of the semifinals in all these continental competitions, there was almost this last minute drama.
Yeah.
Manuela Pavi, who plays for West Ham, Pavi almost won a penalty. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and there it was, I mean, it was a penalty. Like there was contact. She went down. It was soft, but there was a VAR check. But then there was like Pavi herself handled the ball in the build up. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the Argentine player was trying to clear it. She blocked it with her hand and then won the ball. Like she got to the ball, and then so basically there was a handball in the build up, and therefore no penalty. This, like, there was 5 minutes of added time, right? And this
Yeah.
happened in the 94th minute,
Oh
right?
no.
No, it happened in the 95th minute. It was like 94-10 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was literally uh, like it was a lifeline definitely for Argentina, I think.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think both these opportunities fell to Colombia, and then Colombia eventually won anyway. So
Anyway, exactly.
there's not been
But
any like
yeah,
it's
I know.
not
I
spoiled.
feel like, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes the better team doesn't win in a penalty
Yeah.
shootout. Like especially in this game, it was pretty stark. Like
Yeah.
I think Colombia were kind of well on top, for most
Yeah.
parts of the game. So and like I can tell, like maybe Argentina were trying to catch them on the break, but I
Yeah.
don't think they quite managed to do that
Yeah.
well enough. But from like a like Argentinian perspective, I thought their center back Cometi, who
Yeah.
plays for in Liga F, she was really good. I was very, very
Yeah.
impressed with her. I've not seen her play before, and I thought she was quite good. and they also had a midfielder whose name is it's a hard one, but I think her name is Solana uh, Preniger, I think is her name, and I,
Traininger, yeah.
Preninger, yeah. She was also like I really liked how much like her work rate and also like her defensive work as well. I thought she was pretty immense in this game. Two players I felt like really deserve a shout out along with of course their goalkeeper. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it ended in pens. It's almost like it's not just a penalty shootout, but you also kind of need to analyze the penalties now because
yeah,
of
yeah,
what's been
yeah,
happening. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, some of those penalties were really high quality ones, especially Karabali's penalty. If Brighton needs somebody to take a pen,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Caravali is their girl because she like absolute rocket straight into the roof of the net. Like that's what you need to do. Go for the roof. I mean, Caravali did that. So did Pavi. Two very good
yeah.
penalties. Caicedo absolutely slotted it into a corner. But yeah, I mean, a good save as well from Tapia. So yeah, and of course, Myra missed her penalty. I think she was also trying to hit that roof of the net, but hit the crossbar instead. But yeah, I
You
mean,
know, weirdly, I've seen now Myra miss, I think, at least two penalties in this in this like this one and one more this year.
अच्छा,
It's so strange to me because like she feels like a very responsible penalty taker. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I feel
yeah,
like if I had to choose a penalty taker, I would choose Myra Ramirez.
yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I get very annoyed with Myra's shooting technique in general.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like sometimes it just lacks quality. She sometimes overthinks it.
yeah,
She has a lot of power. She generates a lot of power.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
a lot of Chelsea players have been asked who has the best like power on their shot. Everybody says
yeah,
Myra. So there is something there. Hopefully, something that she can finesse as well. But
yeah.
if in the Colombian team, I think I would trust. I think that penalty taker is Usme, Kathleen Usme, who takes
Right, right.
like usual penalties.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
I
yeah.
really like. I love her. She's very animated and
Yeah.
emotive and very very exciting player in general. I think
Yeah.
she's the highest. She has like the most goals for Colombia. Highest
Uh,
goal scorer for them. Not in the
yeah,
tournament, but in like their history.
like in life.
Yeah, in
Yeah, she's
life.
also 30. Like she's also 35 years old. So
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
she
I know,
has
I
the
know, I know.
time.
Yeah. Uh, but
But
yeah, I think that I think sums up this game.
yeah. So okay. Unless there's anything else to add, I have to cover the Brazil versus
Ooh,
Uruguay game, which
yes.
ended 5-1 to Brazil. It could have been higher, honestly. Um, So for Brazil, Gutierrez scored a brace in the 11th minute and in the 65th minute. Then Garbellini scored in the 13th minute. Marta scored a penalty in the 27th minute. Rather questionable penalty, if you were to ask
Mm,
me. And then Dudinia scored in the 86th minute. I
mm,
also have to say about Gutierrez, my God, that free kick was amazing. I'll get to it.
yeah.
And Haas, unfortunately, had for the Brazilian team that was defending fairly well, had a, I would say, somewhat unlucky game because she got a yellow card really quickly, and then
Mm.
later in the game, unfortunately, managed to get an own goal in the 51st minute.
Ah,
Um,
that's a
but
tough day.
yeah, it was a not an easy day for her, but I would say even then that Brazil had a good game. I thought, like
Yeah.
honestly, uh,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
5-1. I'm guessing that must have been a very good game.
You know, weirdly, okay, I have to say this. Um, it was obvious that Brazil are the better team. Okay, they were
Mm.
running circles around Uruguay in the
Yeah.
midfield, but it's not like Uruguay had no opportunities. In fact, I think the first opportunity in the game came to Uruguay. It was a direct shot at the goalkeeper, and they had two, three more opportunities. Like they hit the bar once. And then there was this one free kick that almost went in, that was sort of deflected. So it, and then they had opportunities where they won fouls because Brazil was like kind of handing the fouls out easily like toffee.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and and they didn't do much with the free kicks that they had in very advantageous positions. So perhaps if they had somebody who was better on the dead ball, I think they could have made something of this game. But coming to Brazil, Brazil were just absolutely spectacular. And like everyone is constantly talking about Marta when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, because and Gutierrez obviously had an amazing game with the brace, and that free kick, it went, like bottom corner free kick, very very underrated. Like it wasn't like a lofted free kick, it was a low
Low.
like low ball going into the goal, and like
Yeah. Is
deceptively
this why it's like the kind of free kick where you wish somebody was lying down?
no, not that low, but like it was just a very deceptive looking ball because it didn't feel like it was going to the goal and just like
Mm-hmm.
went into the goal.
Yeah, I
It was,
know. I also felt like the goalkeeper was caught off guard. Like she was kind of
yeah,
wrong
yeah,
footed. She wasn't
yeah.
expecting it.
I
Yeah.
don't think she was expecting it at that height from that angle. I think
Mm.
it was very unexpectedly shot, and it went into the bottom corner before the goalkeeper even knew what was happening, because the goalkeeper could have saved it potentially
Mm.
if she'd caught on even like a few seconds earlier. Anyway, so like all of that, points for all of those things, for the existence of Marta. And like Marta in the first goal also provided the assist for Gutierrez, and that was a really good assist as well. Like it was a nice in swinging ball, directly hitting Gutierrez, advantageously easy to put in. Of course, Gutierrez had to still do the work of putting it in, but it was
Right.
Marta
Yeah.
who sort of like crafted that goal.
Yeah.
So all of that aside, coming to my point, the player that I want to praise the most in this game is Angelina. Um, so actually, both Angelina and Sampaio, I think
Mm.
that's how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
But especially Angelina, I thought that both these players had a really extraordinary game. And um, what what impresses me about the Brazilian team is very like characteristic of their midfield, and that is,
Mm.
sometimes when we're watching like European football, I feel like it's a little too risk averse, in the sense that for the sake of maintaining possession, players often don't take on the opposition, right?
Yeah.
They'd not be like, take on your player, get past them, right? You
Mm-hmm.
are basically passing the ball around until it creates a gap that you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
exploit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, the Brazilian team, both Angelina and Sampaio, and everyone for that matter, even Gutierrez and
Mm.
Garbellini, were basically saying we will take on that person, our person, and we
Yeah.
will create our own space. We don't need to
Yeah.
exploit gaps that you create, we will make our gaps.
Yeah. Got
And I
it.
miss that. It's almost like it's the spirit of football, like
Mm. But do you think that's because they were like Uruguay were very clearly the underdogs in this game? Like even the commentator in the Colombia game said the same thing. Like Brazil are probably very happy with that fixture
yeah.
because Uruguay are massive underdogs. But it would be quite a story if Brazil actually managed to Uruguay actually managed to get past Brazil. Like the classic underdog story that everybody wants. So do you think it was because of that they wanted to play that way?
I mean, it could be, possibly, but it still takes the guts to do it.
Hmm.
Because if you lose, it's not like Uruguay had no opportunities. Brazil had a very high line, and granted that they were playing with three at the back, but they still had to cut off. any counters that the Uruguayan team was putting in, and the Uruguayan team was prepared to counter. They had set up like that, and
Hmm.
they were like both Pizarro and Aquino were trying their best to do that.
Yeah.
And so losing the ball in the midfield, where basically both Angelina and Sampaio were, and Mata as
Yeah.
well, would have been like could have been potentially disastrous. Would have been two passes and a goal. But
Yeah.
so even in that circumstance, they were taking the risk to do it. So
Yeah.
like you can only beat what's in front of you, and
Hmm.
like sometimes you're also trained out of taking a player on. Sometimes like it just happens that a lot of like players trained in the European system sometimes forget that
Hmm.
they can do that, even if they're
Yeah.
playing a opposition that's not so strong, simply because like they're so trained to one touch and pass.
Yeah, and also like the system, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm really intrigued by this because I again I haven't watched Brazil play a whole lot lately, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
not like
mean,
Brazil didn't have a system. Like they were playing
of
like
course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
one touch pass football. It's just
Uh-huh.
that when they saw the opportunity, they took it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just that really like for me that was what was really impressive about the way that the Brazilian team was playing, because it was like it's like playing with a little bit of like guts, like
Yeah, 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 of course. I think, I mean, anytime
I was going
when
to
like
say something other than guts, and then I changed my mind. I was like, this is a family friendly show.
family, oh, right, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think, I mean, I didn't manage to catch this game fully either, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to see,
Yeah,
like,
I do have one criticism of Brazil's manager.
mhm.
So I think Jose Ribas Elias is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think
Arthur
so.
Jose Ribas Elias. So I'm guessing it's Arthur Elias,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Arthur
or maybe
Elias,
it's
yeah,
yeah, or
that's his
maybe it's
name,
all
yeah.
of it. Anyway, one criticism I have of him is, I can understand when you're 3-0 up, that you would do a substitution, right?
Yeah.
But what he did was that he substituted both Angelina and Garbellini in the 46th minute, like
Mm-hmm.
a halftime substitution. I get it. You're 3-0 up. You think you're going to cruise to victory. But that gave Uruguay like a 10-minute period in which Brazil had lost control of the midfield. And,
Right.
like if Uruguay had scored even one goal in that, like they didn't, luckily,
Mhm.
and the goal that eventually came in the 50, like the goal came in the 51st minute, and like they lost control of the midfield. Uruguay had scored one goal. Suddenly Brazil was under pressure because they only had a
Mm-hmm.
two-goal buffer, right?
Yeah.
So like obviously Brazil was still comfortable, and it wasn't like it was like, oh my god, battle stations and all. But
Yeah.
but like, why put yourself under that sort of pressure? Like,
Yeah.
even if you had given 10 minutes more before you had made the substitution from the first 11, I don't think that it would have hurt you that much. I understand that you're preserving players for the finals and stuff, and you want your best players to be totally fit and
Yeah.
stuff. But like this game, you haven't played the finals yet. You have to reach the finals. And
Hmm.
like one more goal from Uruguay from a random counter that you didn't deserve, and it could have been suddenly game on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So just I felt like that was one small criticism in a knockout
Hmm.
semi-finals. I would not have taken the risk of doing that halftime
Yeah.
substitution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been pretty intrigued by some of the substitutions, even like it happened in the Euros as well, right? Like some substitutions were full on game changing. Like it happened with Sweden and
Yeah,
Aslani getting subbed out.
yeah,
It happened with Bonacea and Girelli getting subbed out. Like Girelli, of
yeah.
course, was injured. But yeah, I mean, it's that. Like, do you really want to take such a big risk in a knockout stage? is like something to consider. And I don't
Yeah,
think Carolyn came off the bench as well, right? Like she didn't start the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
I'm
Carolyn didn't
assuming
start.
again that was also with the assumption that
I think
maybe they didn't.
the Carolyn one might have been tactical because,
Yeah.
like Carolyn is really useful when you need her speed, right?
Mm.
When you know that the opposition is going to sit in,
Mm.
uh, it might not, like, as much as I love Carolyn as a player, I don't know if you need her particular skills to do that.
Yeah,
And
it
you can
suits her
save
as
her for the
much.
final as well. And she came
Mm.
on for like, I don't know, I'd have to
20
check
minutes
how
or
much.
so.
Yeah,
I
like
think she
she
came
came
on the
on for like a
71st
small
minute.
amount of time. It wasn't
Yeah,
even,
yeah,
yeah, she came on the 80th minute. So she came on for 10
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I
So,
think if it suits their tactic better, of course, like we know that I mean, the Colombia Brazil game, the group stage was the last game of that group stage.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're going to pretty much play each other with like a game in between. So, because, yeah, I think probably the two strongest teams in the tournament this year, you'd say?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I would say that. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because they're also the two teams that I know the most players from.
Yeah.
So that makes a difference in how I perceive them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because like we know like people like Marta, etc. We know them because they're so famous, and like
Mm.
Orlando Pride also we've been like following a little bit. So that makes a difference. And then obviously the WSL players like Carolyn
Yeah.
or Myra or Karabali or any of these players, we,
Yeah.
we and Caicedo from the Champions League.
Yeah.
We're obviously
And
familiar
also, I
with them.
think both of these teams, under the very same managers, played the Olympics as well. Like they were the
Yeah,
two
yeah,
teams
yeah,
from South America
yeah,
that qualified for the Olympics. So I
yeah,
feel like we have like fresher memory of how they
yeah,
play, some of the players, etc. And I mean, now that these are the two teams who've qualified for, I mean, who have reached the finals, they have also qualified for the Los Angeles Olympics as well.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
again a big deal. The same two teams going in, which
yeah.
shows some kind of a dominance that they have uh, there
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
continent.
I think, and I think it's going to be really like interesting. I feel like the final also is going to be super interesting. Like I see Brazil having slightly more of the ball, and then like Colombia countering, and like I can just imagine like Caicedo running, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah,
I mean, what a player she is turning out to be. Like,
yeah.
she's just having the best season, like both for Madrid and for her country.
Hmm.
It's wonderful to see. She's what, like 20 or something? She's pretty
Yeah,
young,
I
right?
think she's 20 or 21 right now.
Yeah, I mean, she has
Um,
her whole career in front of her, and she's already
yeah,
like,
I think like a lot of people, like different fan bases in the WSL are calling. I feel like there's a general paucity of wingers in the league
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Good wingers, and a lot of fan base are calling for getting Caicedo. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, Caicedo is a bit injury prone, and we
yeah, yeah,
already have
yeah,
one injury prone Colombian in our team. So I'm like, maybe we'll see. But what a talent! You're absolutely right. Like somebody,
yeah,
she's just, her movement in that game, like, and I mean, her pace, of course, she's a very fast player, but her movement, her vision as well. Like, the watching this game, there's something about Caicedo. I feel like I watched a new version of her in this game, like
yeah,
something I have
yeah,
not seen before. And of
yeah,
course, like that might be my own like shortcoming, the fact that I have not seen it. But
yeah.
in this game, whatever I saw, I absolutely loved, because she was, yeah, she was just having the time of her life. You could tell that she's playing with a lot of joy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, absolutely. And like there is um so like there are a lot of players like that. Like Gutierrez, for example. I was so impressed by Gutierrez. Like the whole game, that free kick, the goal conversion, the movement, everything I was really, really impressed by. And like I hope so currently she plays for Palmeiras. And I'd like to see more of her in Palmeiras, either in Palmeiras or wherever else.
Yeah,
Because we won't sometimes with these South American competitions, we can't see them because they're not streamed to us here in India,
yeah.
or because the time difference is so much
Oh, the
that
time difference is a real thing.
they happen in
Like
the
a lot of these
morning.
players actually play even in the NWSL or
Yeah,
in like the league in Mexico and things like that. But
yeah.
yeah, we absolutely do not get to see any of it because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the time difference.
Gutierrez, if you are interested in playing in the WSL, please to come.
Yeah, for our convenience, please move to England.
Please, yes. That's what matters. Our convenience. What arrogance.
Yeah. Terrible, terrible, terrible behavior.
Oh, yes, but hashtag toxic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what I think. I think it's going to be a really fun final. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm low-key excited.
Yeah, I think I mean I'm kind of glad for Colombia that there was no like additional 30 minutes that they
Yeah.
needed to play
Yeah.
because like that would have made this final a bit uneven, I would say, because
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
played extra 30 minutes
Yeah.
versus coming into the game slightly fresher.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm
Plus, like,
happy.
because Brazil is cruising in and making halftime substitutions and getting, wrapping their players in cotton wool and putting them
Yeah.
in hyperbaric chambers. Like, at that point, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, and then like on the other side, like Pavi is getting like thrown around in the 90th minute, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I think yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be an exciting finals.
Yeah.
I am obviously like because of Myra, I'm guessing I'm rooting for Colombia, and also generally like the one thing I do like about Brazil,
Yeah.
loved about Brazil um, in the Olympics was how physical they were. They were
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm like. They kept
in this
winning the
game,
ball, like
like
recovering the ball.
Uruguay have committed 8 fouls and Brazil have committed 16.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
to be fair,
like
okay,
I
okay, wait,
remember,
wait, 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 wait. To
huh?
be fair, a lot of those fouls happened after the substitutions because they lost control of the midfield, like I was saying.
Oh,
And
right,
so there
yeah,
were a lot of these like last ditch unnecessary fouls when you're like 2-3-1 up that were like that seemed to suggest that the game was going away from them a little bit.
right.
I mean, they obviously fixed it, and they were quite fortunate actually to get that free kick in the 65th minute because
Hmm.
that free kick changed the game because suddenly they were 4-1 instead of
4-1 up,
3-1,
yeah,
and that kind of like deflated Uruguay. So,
yeah.
in that sense, the free kick could not have been better timed. Of course,
Hmm.
they were already like winning.
Yeah,
And if they were down, I'm sure they could have put subs in, and Carolyn would have come on and scored a goal or something.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. But the
but
point about physicality that I was making was like I like even in the Olympics, they absolutely like I mean they kind of steamrolled Spain in some
yeah,
ways,
yeah, yeah. Oh
and they
my
won
God,
the
I would
game by
love.
a
Yeah,
pretty big margin. I think it was like a 3-1, 4-1 scoreline if I remember correctly,
yeah,
and like obviously the Spanish players generally had a lot of fatigue, but like they just looked so infuriated, which is like the best thing for me to watch. I love
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Spanish players crying about something. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
love the
even in
Brazil
this
team as well.
game, like it was so, like in the first half, especially, it was so nice to see someone just like be like put your body on the line, come between player and ball, do the recovery, and then go again. And
Hmm.
go again without passing all the way back to the goalkeeper,
Yeah.
So that was just it was very pleasant to watch, because
Hmm.
I was invested suddenly. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm going side to side, horseshoe football.
Oh
It
yeah,
didn't
lateral
feel like that.
passing business. Yeah.
It didn't feel like that. Like I was
Hmm.
energized. By the end of it, I was pumped. I was like, "Go Brazil!" So, so
Yeah.
and having like I just feel like, I mean, from what little I saw of Colombia and the match I saw of Brazil's, going just by those two performances, I reckon Brazil definitely are the favorites.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Colombia need to have like a solid match, but I also know that the Brazilian team they tend to lack consistency a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you never know. But I think this is probably the most closely matched final you could probably get in the tournament in some
Yeah,
ways. Like just in terms of how the quality in the team, but also how the two teams approach football, like just
yeah,
tactically. So I think it's going to be definitely a fun game.
yeah, yeah. Prediction guy.
Oof. Um, I'm gonna say 3-2 Colombia.
Oh, I was gonna go 3-2 Brazil.
Okay. Gold fest, but one
Go
saying
Best.
Brazil, other saying Colombia.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
I
let's
mean,
see how it
also,
goes.
I do have to add, sorry, I know it predictions are finished, but I do have to add that, the three at the back for Brazil, they were also really good at like anticipating where the run is going to go on the counter and like
Hmm.
cutting that off. And
Yeah.
so that also gives me confidence that Brazil will win because I can see like Colombia trying to score on the counter. And if
Yeah.
the three defenders can do a similar thing to Colombia, I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, I also don't think it's there are going to be 5 goals in that final. I just don't feel
Yeah.
that way. And I wonder if Lorena is coming back, like because Lorena is was suspended in the previous, like the match against Colombia, red card, and so I wonder if she'll be back after. I think she should be back. Oh, I mean, I hope the rules are such because she is an exceptional. I like her as a goalkeeper. A bit of dark arts, good shot stopper. She has a howler in her as well, but generally a very good goalkeeper.
Wait, I'd have to like check how many games it's been because it's like three matches, no?
It's been one game. Is it three? Is it three
It's
matches?
three for violent conduct and one for just like
Oh,
uh,
this was just handling the ball outside the box. It was not violent contact. She just
oh,
flew
so then
out
it will be
and
one.
somebody shot and well, like 20 yards, not maybe 20 yards, but like 10 yards outside the box, she just handled the ball like shit. Like she was acting as if she was in front of her goal. So it's
Oh,
probably
so
just
then
a
it's
one match
probably it's
suspension.
one match. So yeah.
Yeah.
So then that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. We got it was a long, winding road, but we got there finally. If you haven't yet, please do press that like button. Consider subscribing to us, especially if you're new to this channel. Um, this is how it always is, but it is controlled chaos. Um, so we will see you with a review episode after the final. So stay tuned for that. Bye bye.